Hey guys, my name is Ella, and for today's video I thought I'd go over some tips on how you can start your Book of Shadows, or Grimoire as some also call it. A Book of Shadows is a sort of diary for many witches and Wiccans to keep recipes, dreams, meditations, rituals, and just general information in. You can keep one Book of Shadows, or you can also keep multiple depending on its purpose. For example, dreams versus recipes, or rituals versus meditations. So the first step to having your own Book of Shadows and starting your own Book of Shadows would be to, of course, get yourself a book, a notepad, or a binder. Then my tip would be to plan out your Book of Shadows at least a little bit. A good starting point would be to have a blessing or a dedication page as your first page, and then perhaps a page about yourself, what type of witch or Wiccan you are, which spirits or deities you work with, and what your favorite practices are, etc. Just general information about you to introduce yourself to your book, basically. Then you can start with including some general information, for example on the Sabbats and the Esbats, the moon phases, their meanings, and activities that you can do on those moon phases. Excuse my puppies. Then of course, if you have a special interest in something, for example you are a kitchen witch, you could add the uses of herbs or different spices. Then candle magic, you can also include color charts and their meanings. You can include numerology. If you are practicing the tarot, you can add the major arcana. So a Book of Shadow is really personal to you. So that means you can include or not include whatever you personally like and think is important, as long as it is helpful to you and your practice. So one other tip is to, for example, always write down your exact spell work so that you can revise it and adjust it when you come back later. Have a look, did it work out, did it not work out, why did it work out, why didn't it work out? And it's just very useful for your future, for your own future as a Wiccan. An extra little tip would also be to write your things in a pencil so that you can always adjust it, erase it if necessary, and then you can always go over it with an ink pen if you really like to. If you like to be really organized, then you can plan out your Book of Shadows and, for example, a spare notebook that you have, or even just in pencil in your actual Book of Shadows. You can also use a binder so that you can add pages into the appropriate sections or take things out. You can also print pages that way and like add them in. Us witches and Wiccans in today's age are of course really lucky. We have phones, we have computers and stuff, so you can of course also keep a Book of Shadows on a blog, for example a personal blog or public blog if you like to, on your phone, in your notes, whatever you like. Personally, sometimes I like to just quickly write some notes down for something that I have to add into my Book of Shadows for later, just so I don't forget it. Don't feel pressured to keep your Book of Shadows a certain way. There really are no rules to it, as long as you are happy with it and as long as it serves its purpose for your craft and your path. If you like, you can add dried flowers. If you like, you can print out things from online, glue them in. You can even hand make the book yourself. I've seen that on YouTube a couple of times. I know a couple of witches completely hand make their book from scratch. Now, a Book of Shadows can be very private and very personal. So one thing to keep in mind is letting other people touch it or read it, as if they are doing so, then chances are they might transfer some of their own energy onto the book. For this reason, a lot of witches and Wiccans like to keep their Book of Shadows to themselves. They don't really like sharing anything about it. Something to just keep in mind. It is all up to you if you like to share your Book of Shadows with others or not. So that's already it about Book of Shadows. I just wanted to make a really quick, informative video on this topic. So if you have any more questions or you would like some more advice, you can always comment, or you can also message me. So that's already it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.